Hello and welcome to Quassi's Bell Tower with your host, Quassi. And today we're going to make a magnetic sewer tile. Now this tile will also go with the sewer entrance that we made last week. So let's get to it. Okay, now the setup to this is just like when we did the magnetic tile 2.0 video. So basically we're using a 3/4 thick foam insulation. I already had this cut out to 3x3s. So what we're going to do is we are going to cut the top of this off at 1/4 of an inch. Okay guys, now we have our top here, which is 1/4 of an inch. And what we're going to do is we are going to cut this into 3 pieces, but we only need 2 of them. They are going to be 1 inch wide. So let's go ahead and rip those through. So we got our 2 pieces here now. Okay guys, so like I said before, now we got our 2 top pieces, and these are gonna go like this. Now, of course, we're doing the magnetic tile, so we're not gonna be gluing this to that. What we need to do is we need to make another layer that we will set, that we set these 2 pieces on. So I'm taking a scrap piece of 3x3 that I have, and I set this to 3 millimeters. And then we're just going to rip this piece through. And then we have our thin wall that will separate those. So that and that will go on there like that, and then this will sit on top of that. So, but first, before we do that, we need to set this to 1/8 and take our bottom piece here and rip all 4 sides off, so when we put the magnets on, they will sit and they won't stick out past the top piece. It'll all be square. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to take some of our tacky glue here. And we are going to take our pieces here and turn them upside down. So you're just putting glue on the bottom where you had cut it with the hot wire cutter. Just draw yourself a nice little bead of this. And then we're just going to take your finger and spread it around and smooth that out. Okay, and then you're just going to stick this to the edge. Hopefully you guys can see this. Put that there, push that down. Go ahead and do the same thing to the other one, just put some more tacky glue on it. So now you got it set up just like this. Should be right on the edge. You still should have an inch spacing right there. Now the thing I like to do is I'll push down on them a bit, because I want them to stay. But what I like to do is I like to take a piece of wood, once I know they're all centered and they're the way I like, and I just plop a block or 2 of wood, or you could use books, whatever, and just put them on there, and then just let that dry for a while. And you'll probably come back to it in maybe half an hour, and it's ready to go. So we'll get on to the next step after that dries. Now that it is dry, we are going to make our lines for our brickwork here. So, like I said, it's just a 3x3. So go ahead and make your marks. go ahead and put your lines in for this. Now make sure when you do this, you go along the inside edge here and do the outside edge also. So get that to what you want it to look like for now. You can do whatever design you want. If you want to go ahead and do your design now, go ahead and go for it. Now that I've got all my lines in for my grid work and I did my texture with the tinfoil ball, I didn't do this on the first one that I made, but I am going to try this. I'm going to go ahead and mix some green and brown paint. Get that all mixed up. And what I did is I used the same combination. All it is it's supposed to be marsh green. I use Kelly green, but usually it's marsh green and burnt umber. And I just take those two colors and I mix them together. Well, like I said, when I first did this, I just left it like this, and then we were going to use some 5-minute epoxy and fill this all in. I didn't paint it or anything else. I just did it like this, and then I put some tape on this side and some tape on this side to keep the epoxy from spilling over. I did get a lot of bubbles with the epoxy, and I popped which ones I could before it got hard, but there was like a lot of holes in it. So I'm going to coat this first in the paint scheme that it's going to be before I put that epoxy on it this time around. I want to see if that makes any difference. I doubt it will, but you never know until you try. Okay, now that this paint here has dried, we are going to move on to the next step. The next step now is to use the Gorilla 5-minute epoxy. And when they mean 5 minutes, they mean 5 minutes. Jeremy from Black Magic Craft used this in one of his videos, and I'm going to try it in mine. It does come with a little stir stick they give you, and it does come with a little tray where you can pour it in and do it yourself. But we're not going to use that, and we're not going to use the little stick. I got my cup here. I just got these at a grocery store. I don't know, there's so many in a pack, so I got a million of them. And I'm just going to use a normal popsicle stick, a Blue Bunny popsicle stick, by the way. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm taking some Scotch heavy duty strong packaging tape, and I prefer to use this, even though I've never used the regular Scotch tape to do this. This seems to have a stronger bond, and so we're going to use this because it seemed to work good for me. So next, I'm going to take this and cut this right down the middle. This is a, by the way, this is a 3-inch length of this tape. Okay, so all I'm going to do is flip this upside down, tape this right on there, and I'm just going to flip this and seal it the best I can with this tape. I'm not going to fold it over all the way. I probably should have put more tape on this side and had less on here, but oh well. Now I'll go do my second piece. And make sure that's on there good. And just try to get this tape on there to seal as good as you can. So okay, that's that now. I'm also going to use the marsh green paint and the burnt umber paint when I do this. I'm probably going to have to use a little bit more of this epoxy than I really want to, because I want to make sure I have enough, because if you fall short, you're pretty much screwed on that. So all you got to do is, on this epoxy, break the little black piece that's off on so you can cap it off when you're done, if you don't use it all. You just pop this piece off right here, And then you take this and you just start squirting this in. Trying to make, come on, why is that other side not going now? Come on. Is it jammed? Yep, okay. And try to even it out as much as possible. Push as much as you think you need in there. I'm gonna go about halfway. Hopefully that is enough for me to do this. And then all you gotta do is clean up the end here. And you kind of want to do this as fast as you can, by the way. So, oh my gosh, this epoxy doesn't dry out or start hardening on you already. So, take some of your paint, just put a couple squirts of that in there. A couple of that. It's probably a little too much brown, but that's okay. I'm just going to stir the heck out of this for 20 seconds. So you just kind of keep that in your head. And just start counting. I don't know, is that 20 seconds? Who knows? And you're just going to pour this in there. And just kind of go back and forth with it. Hopefully this works out and I have enough epoxy here. I'm hoping I'm not short. And just kind of watch where you're putting it. And I'm going to be really upset if I'm short. But I think I might have enough. Let's see if I can spread this out in time. Yeah, and this stuff is really sticky too. So, just push that in there in the corners to make sure you get it all in there. Come on, let go. Okay, so I got that pretty good. I got that nice and level with it. It is going to do some expanding a bit. I'm just going to pop the little bubbles in there if I can. And I might not be able to get them all. Let go! Okay, I got a couple of them. See, now they're like popping on their own. You're gonna have some bubbles no matter what. I know on some of these resins, they say you can just blow on it to get the bubbles out, but that doesn't seem to work with everything. And I got a little here, I'm just gonna spread it out. I'm gonna paint over that anyway, so hopefully we won't notice that. But we're just gonna let that sit there and dry out. That's going to take some time. Like I said, they said it's a 5-minute epoxy, but even after it's supposedly dry, it's still a little, it's kind of hard to explain. It's got like a tacky type texture to it. See, that one just popped, but now it's just a circle there. So you have to deal with that. But that's it, guys. Okay, guys, now it's all dried. The only complaint I would make about what I did here would be that it did not come out the same color as this one. I didn't put enough green in it. There was more brown, so it came out more of a brown look. You know, it all comes down to what kind of color you want and what kind of look you want. What I'll have to do is probably find that same kind of color and just kind of do a wash and wash that into it, and hopefully I can get it the same color. But overall, it came out really well. So all I gotta do is paint it and take the bottom piece and put the magnets on, and it'll be all done. And I'll be right back with you guys to show you the final result. So here are some of the sewer tiles that I am working on. The one that is spinning is the finished one with the sewer entrance attached to it. And then we have the intersection one, which I did off camera. And then we have the corner one, which is still in the drying process for the epoxy. So there you guys go. Those are the sewer tiles, which go with the sewer entrance that I made last week. I'm hoping to make some more sewer tiles in the future and make some accessories for the sewer tile. But I'll be taking probably a break for a week or two. I'd like to push out some videos before then, but I just don't think I'm going to have the time. I will be recording other videos for my other channel that I do with my friend Brian. It is a beer review channel called Point Rock Review. And if you'd like to check that out, the link will be at the bottom. You can do that. And Brian's channel, which he's a gamer, he has a channel called BrotherBrianGaming. And you can check that out. That'll be a link at the bottom too. So please comment, subscribe, and like always, ring that like button like a hunchback. Until next time.